Well, I'm very excited about our next speaker. He studies markets and capitalism through a very Sir John lens. He is a political philosopher and author and research chair at the Faculty of Humanities at Vrije Universiteit at Amsterdam. Please give a big round of applause for Govert Buijs.
Thank you all. Still feeling great after this great talk about feeling great of Jason? Yes, I hope so. Because this may change after my talk. So enjoy the moment, for I'm going to talk about capitalism. A contentious issue, perhaps. So, well, I don't know what your associations are with capitalism. It may be that it is about dollar signs in the eyes of people, or in your own eyes, I don't know. Or it may be that you are reminded of this quote of Gordon Gekko in Wall Street, greed is good, yeah, remember? Yes. That used to be my associations with capitalism, but not anymore. I changed, thanks to Templeton, basically, thanks to a research project that we did. Because when I'm a political philosopher, and I teach philosophy courses to business and economics students. And I started to do that in 2008, 2009, 2010. Remember? Credit crisis. These bankers, they're going out grabbing as much money in their pockets as possible, yes, at the cost of millions of people who could not pay their mortgages anymore, and even risking the entire stability of the financial system, which had to be saved by governments by huge bailouts. Yes, you remember. At that time, I started to teach about these things. And I said, well, is this the heart, the epitome of capitalism? Or is this a distortion of capitalism? And I started to talk about this with other philosophers, but with economists and business studies people and business people themselves, with psychologists and with theologians even. And then we came up with the idea to have a research project on this. And that's what was then funded by the TWCF, on markets and morality. And actually, what I found was this. The key conclusion, I will already give this, that markets do not run on greed and money. Markets run on virtues. So that's quite surprising. And even the opposite is true, that markets, that money and greed are destroying capitalism. So how did we come to this conclusion? Well, let me just postpone this for a while and first have a working definition on capitalism. Yes, that is helpful if we have that. Well, capitalism is an economic system in which it is possible for someone with an innovative idea, maybe you at now or in the past, who can go and try to find financiers, convince them of the value of this idea, and then say, well, I want to make an enterprise to make this idea happen, and then bring this to the market in a way that covers my basic costs, the cost of labor, the cost of equipment, and the cost of finance itself, and make a profit after all. That's a great idea, isn't it? And yet, there is a temptation, a danger there, that you may want to pursue profit, for example, at the cost of exploiting people, or exploiting nature, having bad consequences there. So that you want to make a profit no matter what. And that's the key question. Is capitalism pursuing profit no matter what, or is that a distortion of capitalism? How did we go about studying this? Well, we studied what world religions, very much in line with what Sir John Templeton did. What do the world religions say about market behavior? And we studied as well the work of Adam Smith again. Adam Smith is often considered to be the father of modern economic thinking. People often say he is the Adam and the Smith of modern economics, the originator and the one who crafted the field. And we did empirical research and a review of a lot of empirical research on the relation between, you can say, virtues in markets, virtuous behavior, and human flourishing. And let me just give some of the highlights of what we came up with. And let me just start with Adam Smith. In almost all economic textbooks, introductory textbook, and you may remember this, then you will find one famous quote of Adam Smith. That is this quote: "It is not from the benevolence of the butcher, the brewer, or the baker that we expect our dinner, but from their regard to their own self-interest." That seems to nail the thing. Yes, economics is about self-interest. Yes, no doubt about it. Yes. What we found out, reading it in this context, that apparently economists like to quote a fancy one-liner, but do not have any consideration about the context in which it is said. Yes. And when you do this, you read the very next sentence in which he explains what he means. And the very next sentence is this: "We address ourselves not to their humanity, but to their self-love, and never talk of our own necessities, but of their advantages." Let me give an example. Yes. Assume that I'm a shoemaker. Yes. And I see you have today beautiful shoes everywhere, but perhaps you have worn out shoes, yes? And I have made these shoes, and I'm proud of it. Did a good job. And what I'm going to say is, well, I rather would like you to buy these shoes because I have my mortgage to pay, and I have children to feed, etc. Please buy these shoes. No, I'm not talking about my own necessities. I'm talking about your advantages. I say, you have worn out shoes. Here, I have beautiful shoes. You will shine in them. Buy them. Yes? And that's exactly, you get to what Jason said, the win-win situation and not the win-lose situation. And that is what Adam Smith says market behavior is all about. Looking for the self-interest of the other. Yes? And then combine this with your own interest so that you can get this win-win situation. And this was confirmed when we were studying all these world religions. Yes, and when we saw from Confucius' China to Mohammed's Mecca, the same ideas that you say, well, market behavior, market is fine, markets are great. If you are honest, fair, dealing in a just way with your customers, yes, then it is fine. Yes. Okay. Now it may be that you are saying, well, listen, Govert Buijs, we are modern people, and all these old philosophical stuff and this religious stuff and all these ancient economists, etc., that is of no use to us. Give us the empirical evidence, yes, evidence-based economics. Okay, you can have it your way, because that we did as well. And we studied this at 3 levels: individual level, the meso level of corporates, and the macro level. And in the individual level, there's a whole new field in economics in recent decades, which has emerged, behavioral economics, that indeed studies individual behavior in market situations. And what we found, or what has been found, and what is in a lot of research, is that people do not just are only concerned with their own self-interest. They have as well what is called pro-social preferences. They like to have good relationships, and they like to be trusted and to trust others. And of course, there are always bad apples in the situation, but that is the basic thing there. That's the individual behavior. The corporate level, there you see the very same thing, that when managers and corporates are value-driven, and they have a long-term orientation, and they are really concerned about the well-being of others and about intrinsic motivation in the work, then the employees will do well within the company, but as well the other stakeholders outside of the company will as well flourish. Yes. And then there is the macro level. And there you see the very same thing. It was quite hard technically to do this with all the data, but basically the same idea was there, that virtuous behavior in societies affects positively the well-being, the human flourishing in societies. And this very much is confirmed, by the way, or by similar research by the most recent Nobel-prize winners in economics, Acemoglu, Robinson, and Johnson, when they are talking about extractive institutions. Yes? And when a society has extractive institutions, maybe governments, maybe big corporates that are trying to grab as much money out of society as possible, then human flourishing will go down. And it is even possible, and that we see the evidence of that before our eyes, that you then are confronted with political unrest, with political turmoil, with protest, with revolutions, with populist uprisings. So, and this can create, as well, you can say, a danger to democracy, because then often this can only be contained by having autocratic forms of government, but as well, the whole stability that is needed for entrepreneurs to do their work, this creative idea, bring it to the market, the heart of capitalism, then that in an unstable situation, this becomes very difficult to do. So that undermines capitalism, yes? And so, well, I could expand on this at length. I will not do it here, but perhaps you can reflect a little bit on the implications of this. The implications for business curricula, for economics curricula, which still are very much based on the idea of homo economicus, maximizing your individual profits. Yes, the implications for this, for the behavior of leaders, managers, business leaders, political leaders, etc. That what is the attitude, the basic attitude that you are kind of expressing in your decisions there? And well, we can have the overall conclusion, indeed, that capitalism, if it wants to be sustainable, has to be run on virtues. And that those who are often with a lot of pomp and circumstance are kind of defending capitalism are actually perhaps close to destroying it. And those that launch a moral critique of capitalism are actually saving it. So thank you very much, TWCF, for making this journey of discovery possible, and I thank you all for your attention.